Yellow flag. Still 28. Overtake. Clear left.
Hello everyone, Ben here and welcome to one of the best sim races I have ever had. This week's feature race really is that good. We're at the Red Bull Ring in the GT3 class, a grid of 28 cars, and we line up in 11th place. And from start to finish, there is no let up in fighting for positions. We've got the whole race coming up, but before we get going, make sure you subscribe to the channel and get involved in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think of the race and ways I can improve the races that we share in the future. Finally, I want to say a big thanks to Richie Guttel and Tor Ole Vold, who I spend most of this episode racing with. It's really tight all of the way through, but the racing was really clean and enjoyable. Now, let's go to the grid. Right then, here we are on the grid at the Red Bull Rings, ready to get underway. We are in the BMW M6 GT3 in the PlayStation livery, and here we go. Pretty even start for everybody coming off the grid there. We've got a car just coming around to our left hand side. First corner at Austria is always really difficult. There's going to be cars running wide. We're just going to keep it nice and tidy, and look at that, we get a clean run right the way through the middle. A couple of cars rejoining there from the left hand side means we've got to come over to the right hand side. That's going to put us right on the inside of the very tricky uphill tight right-hander coming up. I'm going to just try and stick to the apex as best I can. We've got cars coming around, they touch up ahead of us and one car's round, and we're going to have to try and get round, and we just about managed to, but we've lost 3 places there by the looks of it, as we just got stuck with the spun car in front of us, but we've managed to make our way through. We didn't get any damage, crucially, so there's a long race to come just yet. Full 15 minutes here at the Red Bull Ring, so we've got plenty of time to make back some of those spots. There will be more mistakes up ahead, I'm absolutely sure of it, and we just got to be ready to capitalise. Cars going side by side then up ahead of us through this left-hander. One car on the left just about holding it in the other BMW there as he nearly lost the back end. We come round now. Oh, and look at that, a Porsche off in the background into the gravel trap, but we're coming towards the end of this first lap now, running in 13th place, and all in all, considering just how chaotic first laps at the Red Bull Ring can be, I think we've got to be reasonably pleased with that. Oh, and look at that, the car just running wide there into the final corner. He's going to be really slow all the way down this back straight. We're going to try and make a move here. It's time to be bold on the brakes into T1. Confident in the fact we'll get the car turned in and accelerated out, and we just about make it round cleanly. I think it's really important that in these early laps, when the pack is still tightly bunched together, you don't want to do anything reckless, but if an opportunity comes up, I think you've got to try and take it. The last thing you want to do is get stuck behind cars, particularly when we've lost out. Oh, as another car is round at this tricky T2, so we've made another spot there, back up into 11th where we started. But as I was saying, if an opportunity presents itself, I think you've got to be quite confident and aggressive on the brakes to try and make it work, and just get past, and then you can run in a bit more clean air and try and maximise your pace across the race. Don't do anything daft, don't sort of bin the race within the first couple of minutes, but equally don't be too conservative and sit back too long, because if you do, then the whole race can get away from you pretty easily. So we're now up into 11th. It's a short lap here in Austria, just around the 1:30 mark, so we're going to be coming around to the end of the second lap pretty soon. The orange BMW up ahead is looking very racy here, and he's going to try and make a move as he round the outside. You're not really going to be able to make a pass into these final couple of corners, not safely anyway, unless somebody makes a mistake. Oh, but there was a car off there at the pit entry. You might have missed that, but they've had a big crash, and that puts us up into 10th place. So still cars just getting to grips, drivers getting to grips with the race pace here at the Red Bull Ring. We're now through onto lap 3 then. The orange BMW up ahead is definitely having a think about whether he can make a move on the Mercedes. We've got a Mercedes just behind us as well, who is sticking pretty close to us as we come now into the tight right-hander. We're going to nip that apex nicely, and we're going to get a better run out of the corner than the car ahead. This could be really important here. Again, just trying to make up spots early in this race. Not really a braking zone that you feel confident going side by side through, so I'm going to just ease around it and hopefully get a better run out of the corner. And we do, but I'm having to kind of take avoiding action now and get to the right hand side of the track. That's going to slow us down. It's going to give the Mercedes behind us an opportunity. We're stuck on the outside of this corner, which is not really where you want to be. We've drifted wide. I'm trying to not make contact with him, and that gives the Mercedes the chance to swoop round our inside. He's going to try and make 2 places up, but he just can't do it. We're now stuck to the outside again. We've ran wide and have picked up a few incident points for our troubles. And in the end, we weren't able to gain a spot. In fact, we've lost one to the Mercedes, so we're back down now into 11th place. And this right here, this group of 3 cars, myself and the 2 cars up ahead, is the battle for the rest of this race now. We've got 10 minutes left, and our pace is so well matched between the 3 of us. This is going to be a fascinating battle to see who can come up on top with the next set of laps to come. We just about hold it through T1 there. I'm going to try and stick to the rear bumper of the car ahead because he's going to come up quite quickly, I think, against the orange BMW, just as we were. I think we've got probably the best line through this corner of the 3 of us. As look at that, he's already ran wide there up ahead, and is given the opportunity to the Mercedes to get past. So unfortunately we weren't able to capitalise on that, but it has allowed Guttel to get past pretty easily, and so we're going to have to just tuck back in behind the 2 of them and hope that an opportunity comes through the back end of this lap. Vold is looking a little bit sketchy here coming into the left hand corner. He's going to be going in deep. We're going to do the little cut back move, the switch back move, and try and get out of the corner better. We're side by side, but we've got the inside line for the next corner, so we control that. Just need to try and hug to the apex and not run too wide, and we've made that move stick as well. So 10th place now. Just about 9 minutes left to go in the race, and we know we're in for a really tight battle here. We've got another spinner coming through the last corner. A Mercedes has gone off, so that's going to give us 9th place, and we're now going to concentrate on getting onto the back of the blue and white Mercedes just up ahead of us. But you can see that Vold is not going to let go of this position easily. He's all over the back of us here coming into T1, and I'm going to have to be really careful not to give him a run into the tight right-hander at the top of the hill here. He's well in our slipstream. He's going to follow us over to the right-hand side of the track here. We're going to come back onto the racing line because that's going to give us the best entry to the corner, but we do just leave it a little bit defensive so he can't come down our inside. Up ahead, Guttel's ran wide. That's going to give us a chance along the back straight here to try and get alongside him. We don't have that much over speed, so I'm not sure we're actually going to get all the way alongside. We might have to think better of this move and just tuck back in. It's going to be very tight on the brakes. He just about holds it. We almost push him out of the corner. Car runs wide behind us and off into the gravel, and we're now still stuck behind in 9th place. Going to try and get on the brakes nice and early to just take the inside line, but he covers that off very, very well. Vold has dropped back a little bit, but I expect to see him close that gap back up because ultimately we're fighting here. So we're not running our ultimate pace. We are slowing each other down, but it is for position, and ultimately we're going to have to work really hard to get past here as we come past the halfway point of the race and into the second half. We're now coming onto the start finish straight once again. We're not going to be close enough, even though within 4/10 of the driver ahead, to make a move into T1. So it's all about staying nice and tidy through this corner to potentially set up a move once we get to the top of the hill. Look there, just behind us, Porsche gets it all wrong, spins it out of T1. You've got to be really careful on those curbs on the outside. They can spin the car around very, very easily. We come into the braking zone then. I'm going to try and keep it nice and tidy, but we've gone in deep this time. That's a very rare occurrence for us in this race where we get that corner wrong. It's one part of the track where we've been strongest, and now we're defending. Vold has come back into the mix and he's got the inside line. Gonna have to try and just outpower him down the straights, get on the brakes as late as we dare. We don't want to rear end the car up ahead, and we've managed to hold that position from the orange BMW behind us. So this is so nip and tuck. As I said earlier, the pace between us is so well matched that it really is one of the tightest battles I think I've ever had in sim racing, and the racing itself is clean and fair but very, very firm as well. So we're coming now onto the back end of this lap, and once again we're being challenged. He's been quicker than us through that section of corners all race long actually, but it's very, very difficult to make a pass into these final two. We just have to stick to the inside, and there really is no room around the outside. But look at that, Guttle's hit the curb coming out of the final corner. That might give us a little bit of a chance to close that gap back up to a few tenths of a second as we come into the first corner here. He's going to get on the brakes nicely into that corner. Vold is putting some pressure on us from behind. In fact, he's squirming all over our rear wing trying to find some space through, but he just can't make it. He's going to have to settle back into our draft behind us. We're going to try and get this corner better than we did the last lap. Tuck onto the apex, get into first gear, and then onto the accelerator nice and early. Vold makes a bit of a mistake behind us, so he's dropped back a little bit. But again, we're not going to be close enough on this lap to make a move. So again, when that happens, rather than try and force the issue, what I'm really thinking about here is just how can we keep it nice and neat and tidy and close up again for the next set of corners where there is an opportunity to pass. That's not going to be around this bit of the track unless he makes a mistake, which he could do, but I can't assume that he's going to. So it's really just about staying nice and tidy, not getting distracted by the car ahead, but sticking to our braking points, and then hoping that when it comes round to T1 and T2 on the next lap, an opportunity might open up. So we're coming through into the final couple of corners here. We want to carry as much speed as we can here. Look at how wide Vold runs into this corner. That's a really aggressive line, but he's gone too aggressive. He's ran wide on exit as well. That'll cost him time, and he's ran wide again there. So he will be racking up the incident points at this part of the race. For our part, we've tucked in nicely under the rear wing of the car ahead. We're now just 2 tenths behind. So we don't make a move into the first corner, but I am thinking there might be a sniff of a chance here as we come up the hill if we're able to get in the draft and get back to within quarter of a second. I might just have a little look down the inside here, but no, we're not going to be close enough, unfortunately. So I settle again for just another lap, sticking behind him, hoping he runs wide, which he does a little bit, but not enough to let us in or get alongside on this back straight. So once again, just have to keep it neat and tidy through the remainder of this lap, hope for a mistake of some kind, but crucially not make any mistakes ourselves. We run slightly deep into that corner and we just miss the curb on the left hand side. You don't want to get up on that curb on the left hand side. It's the easiest thing in the world then to get kind of sucked into the gravel trap and lose 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds trying to get out again, and then have dirty tyres for the next set of corners as well. So really important that you don't go too wide through that left-hander, otherwise it could be your race ruined. So Guttle and myself, as we come to the end of another lap here, have managed to drop Vold slightly, so it looks like for the time being at least it's a two-way battle for 8th place as we come onto the start finish straight. We are pretty close to him here. This is probably the closest we've been crossing the start finish line. We're going to have a little look to the outside, but I'm not really looking to make a move here. I'm just looking to scare him a little bit, if I'm absolutely honest, to make him think that I might make a move. That means he runs in slightly deep, and that's given us a better run out of T1. This right here is going to be our opportunity. We've got the gap right the way down. We're going to pull to the inside, give him plenty of time to see what we're up to, get to the apex first, keep it nice and narrow and tight, and essentially block him on the way off, because even if he does get a better exit, we've got the inside line. He is alongside us, but we should have the power to kind of make this stick along the back straight. We've got the inside line for the next corner as well, crucially, so we just need to not outbrake ourselves, stick to the inside line, and he's going to be forced to the outside. All of this scrapping has allowed Vold back into the mix with us here, but we've made that move stick. And now, with just 1 minute and 45 left in this race, we're in prime position to win this three-way battle and claim 8th place in this race. Mega competitive. and it's just fantastic to be scrapping so tightly with other drivers in these ranked races. No, it's not for a race win, it's not for a podium, but it doesn't mean that it isn't really enjoyable, really tense, quite stressful actually. I was really concentrating hard here not to make a mistake. And look at that, after the best part of 15 minutes of online racing here, look at how close the three of us are, and we haven't made contact with each other once. We haven't had an accident. There hasn't been anybody who's got carried away or has endangered one of the other drivers here. It's all been clean and fair racing, but just really close and really competitive. Vold is looking racy here, and that he might make a move on Guttle behind us. We're going to just try and keep calm and stick to our usual racing line, not do anything silly at this point. Come round the right-hander once again. And at the moment, everybody is holding positions. In fact, Vold looks like he's probably gotten a little bit deep behind us there, because he's dropped back slightly on Guttle behind us, who's now taking a look to see if he can get down our inside. Thankfully, he can't. We do run slightly wide, though, as does Vold. And that is basically going to be him out of contention now, because he did exactly what we were talking about just a couple of laps earlier. He got those tyres onto the gravel, and that really does cost you some big time out there. We're coming round now into the left-hander. There's going to be one more lap after this, so basically now it's going to be a one-lap shootout between Richie Guttle and myself for who can claim 8th place in this race. We come into the final 2 corners of this penultimate lap. He's having a little look there. He did take a bit of a tighter line to see if he could get down our inside onto the start-finish straight, but he couldn't. But look at how close behind us he is. He's well within a couple of tenths here. He's just having a little look, just sort of giving us a little sign that he might go down our inside. We're going to just stick to our usual line, try and prioritise getting a good run out of the corner, which we do. We're not dropping him though. He's going to be right with us through this final lap, you can tell, and this is going to be one of his big opportunities here. So he does put his nose out into the right hand side there to see if he could find a way down the inside, but he can't. We managed to hit the apex, and we just get the better drive out of that corner as well. So for the time being, we're safe, but it's not going to be long until we're into another braking zone here, and he's definitely in our draft. He is going to be coming down now, looking for an opportunity into the right-hander. He doesn't look for the inside, but instead I think he's hoping we run a bit wide, which we just about keep a hold of. But look at that, he switches now to our outside. We've still got the high ground here because we're going to be on the apex. If we just get our braking right, he won't find a way around, and he doesn't, so he has to tuck back in. And really, unless we make a mistake from here on in, it's going to be very hard for him to find a way past now. We can control each of these corners coming up, so I just have to maintain my concentration and focus for another couple of corners for about another 25 seconds, and we'll be home and dry. But look at how tight it is, and our battling is allowing Vold to close back up again. But we're round the final corner. We're going to come across the start-finish line to end this race in 8th place, and wow, what a brilliant battle that was. Super tense, super competitive, but also super clean, and therefore just really enjoyable. I don't think I've ever celebrated an 8th place finish as much as I did when crossing the line at the end of this race. So we'll have a look now at the results. The leading group lapping 128.5s around here. I think my average lap time would be more in the sort of mid 129s. Really quick, so fair play to them. But just a really enjoyable race. Again, hats off to the guys that we shared that race with. Really enjoyable, and another great example of the kind of racing you can have on RaceRoom ranked servers. I hope you've enjoyed the race as much as I did. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed to the channel, and I will see you next time.